Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. And today, since Terrifier 2 is about to release in 1 or 2 days, I'm gonna look back and review the very first movie. So, just getting into it right now. I remember just scrolling through Netflix and just seeing this on there. Now, I'd never heard of it before. Never seen it. All I saw was just like the face of the killer in the movie, Art the Clown, with like his black and white face paint, the tiny little hat, and I thought that this was gonna be a great film. So I popped it in. Well, I turned it on. I started watching the first few minutes, and the first thing I thought was like just how bad the quality looked, where like the lighting just looked too dark. It looked like it was like oversaturated on the characters especially. There were times where you couldn't see the people's faces and stuff. And like there was this really grimy like film grain over the whole thing. But as the movie went on, I actually came to enjoy it a lot more. And like especially after I've watched like all these like really old horror movies and like splatterhouse movies, like not even the ones from the 80s like Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm talking about like really really old obscure ones like I Drink Your Blood or like The Wizard of Gore, like those kinds. Like I've really come to appreciate like just the really grim grimy flavor to the whole movie and other movies in general. Like this isn't the only one that's done that. I believe the film The Collector also decided to have like a film grain over it to make it have that more like a dirty, gritty feel to it. But this movie, it works way better because like it's basically kind of like a sort of like a love letter to like the really old horror movies or like blood fests. Like um like the entire time that I was rewatching it, like it kind of felt like something that like you'd see from the 70s and directed by Herschel Gordon Lewis, if you guys remember him. He's the one who did The Wizard of Gore, or more well known, the movie 2000 Maniacs. It just feels like this movie was kind of like it could have been made for that time, especially because like one of the things that I still think right now is like a lot of times the dialogue falls flat, especially with two of the main girls, Dawn and Tara. Like it just feels like the lines are like just off, but I think that kind of works well with the whole, I guess you'd call it, the charm of this film. The story itself is, I mean, it's basically any slasher film. Like a serial killer goes around killing people. Um, it's really about like these two girls, Dawn and Tara, who like they encounter Art the Clown, who traps them in this like abandoned warehouse, and then he just picks them off and the other people that are like inside the building just one by one in like the most goriest and brutal fashion. Like I was not expecting it, and when I originally saw this, I was not expecting it to go like as far and hardcore as it did. Like there's one kill, if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. There's one specific kill that it's almost like the director saw the Candyman films where Tony Todd says like, I'm gonna split you down the middle from groin to gullet, and it's almost like the director saw that and said that he can top that, and well, he did. Like one of the kills he gets is where Art the Clown, like, he takes a hacksaw and literally saws a woman in half. Then there's another one where like he just where he literally stomps on someone's face and like just um and like the whole thing is just brutal. Like, think of Halloween 2018 when Michael Myers killed his doctor, where he stomps on the dude's head. In a lot of ways, it's kind of like that, but once you see like the aftermath of it later in the film, in some ways it's a little bit more brutal than when Michael killed the doctor. Um, there's even a moment where Art kills somebody with a gun, and like they managed to make a gun kill even more brutal than it already is. Like, instead of just shooting the person, like first he shoots them like right in the leg, then in the head, and then he just freaking unloads the rest of his gun into that person. And when the body is put up on display later, um like it shows just how much damage he did with the gun, where like half the face is just completely just shredded, and like one of the eyes I think is even missing. Um, and that's only like just a few of the kills. Like I don't want to talk about like all of them that happens, but then there's another one where like I mean, playing a little bit into dark humor here, Art the Clown, like he. So I guess to put this in context, when I first watched the film, um, I thought that Art at one point like skinned a woman completely alive. Well, that's not particularly true. What he actually did was he sort of pulled a Buffalo Bill from the Silence of the Lambs and performed gender reassignment surgery on himself. And again, like if you watch the movie, like you'll find out what I mean by that. But but speaking of the dark humor, like I mean, this movie was a slasher film first and foremost, but it also felt like a very like pitch black comedy, especially with the character of Art, because like so Art is a clown, like he's a mime, but like just the his mannerisms and the way he acts, like you can't help but get a little bit of a nervous laugh out of it. Like there's one point where he's chasing one of his victims, and like when they try to get away, he's constantly honking a horn at them, or where like he's just trying to terrify them, and he's literally just riding around on this tricycle. At one point, like the tricycle even falls over, so he picks it back up and it just rides away. And there's even this like other scene where like right after like he saws that person in half, he pulls out a phone and takes a selfie with them. Like maybe this is because of my own twisted humor, but like every single one of those times, like I just couldn't help but laugh at it. Like even there's even a scene like at the very end where like where this medical coroner is he's asking like to get like a breakfast sandwich, and like he was saying something about like watching his cholesterol kind of go up, and one of the like this one cop or whoever asks him like how he can eat, like how he can think of eating like while examining like bodies that are like brutalized pretty much beyond recognition. And he just says in like the driest way possible that nothing shocks him anymore, because like he once saw basically not exactly a newborn, but like someone who wasn't even a year old, like basically brutalized. And just the way he delivers it, like just like the deadpan delivery, no pun intended, like it just kind of got a laugh out of me. But that's why. So I guess to summarize this whole thing, like the film was amazing. Like it was a fantastic horror film, a fantastic slasher. Like Like, I'll be honest, like, the main slashers, like, Pennywise, Candyman, like, sometimes even Freddy Krueger, like, in some ways, they have nothing on Art the Clown. Like, this guy is, like, just brutal in just how he kills people. Like, again, like I said, he was able to make he was able to kill somebody with a gun and make it more brutal than what they usually show in movies and TV. And I guess on a side note, this whole film, like as a whole, like it is kind of an inspiration for people who are trying to like do their own thing. Like, I believe when I looked this up on Wikipedia, the budget, or at least they said the budget, was only $35,000. Now, according to other articles that I read, the film was done on a micro budget of 100,000. So I'm just gonna say that it was somewhere in between. But the point is, like, this whole kind of film was crowdfunded, and like they only raised a small amount of money, but like you really gotta look at the film just to see just how much they were able to accomplish with that small amount. And now with the fact that that Terrifier 2 is coming out with, I'm assuming, is like a much bigger budget, if like the trailer's any indication. Um, and like it, and the movie's gonna be like 2.5 hours long anyway. Um, I'm really excited to see like what they can do with like more time, more resources, more money. And this does kind of go back to like other filmmakers like Sam Raimi back when he made the first Evil Dead movie, where like they didn't really have a studio backing them until they had finished the film. Like I remember there being a specific interview where they said that that they were so strapped for cash when making the film, like they actually had to use like live rounds for the shotgun that Ash fires in the movie, because because no joke, live rounds were actually like cheaper than like dummy rounds. So that just made the production even more dangerous, because they had to make sure that like gun safety was like basically one of the biggest priorities. But going back to Terrifier, like again, like watch the film, and like you really will see like just how much passion was put into this, and just what filmmakers can do, like with just a few lights, a few actors, and like just a lot of blood and gore. But that's really it for me. I guess to cap this all off, like if you like horror movies and you like slashers, you're really gonna love Terrifier if you haven't seen it already. Like me, I definitely rewatched it in preparation for Terrifier 2. I cannot wait for it. And and if you guys remember from my roadmap video for October, the whole reason why like a lot of these videos are pre-recorded is because of like I'm gonna be doing that scare acting job at Haunted Maze Attraction. Well, the role I'm playing is gonna be like this like evil clown, and I was even talking with a friend that I made there, and I said that like that I'm gonna be rewatching Terrifier, like basically just to compare notes and basically sort of base my mannerisms off of that. Like I'm not planning on being completely silent, but I am going to be using like some of the ways that art acts as a way to like boost my own like creep factor, if that makes sense. But anyway, that's all I have for today. Definitely like, comment, subscribe. Oh, and like I said, watch the film for yourself. Um, I know that the lighting and like the whole film grain griminess feel of like the throwback like grindhouse 1970s, it might not be for everything, but I am pretty sure that will grow on you guys. And once you're done with that, definitely go see Terrifier 2. I'll be seeing it at some point, and once I do, I'm definitely dropping a review on this channel. Anyway, bye guys, and have a happy Halloween.